Shalom and welcome to another episode in our ongoing series called Israel on Location. Our location today is the first century synagogue at Magdala. In this video, I would rather have you look at what I'm seeing directly than having me in the video. This is the entrance into this first century synagogue used by Jewish people living in this city. It dates to the time of Jesus. Even though Magdala is only mentioned once in the Gospels, that would be the end of Matthew 15, I have to think that Jesus was in this synagogue. He would have entered in this direction. And now as we take a look at this very modest synagogue, the bench structure of it, some mosaics around the benches, even benches right below me, right here. I got to think that maybe 70 or 80 people could have attended a synagogue gathering here at Magdala. As we take a look at this synagogue from another angle, let's observe how well built it is. This mosaic, I guess you can't call it a sidewalk, but it would have been surrounding the inside benches. And more significantly, this stone that would have been placed in the center of the synagogue. Most likely the scrolls were placed here, and the attendant would have picked up the scrolls and read from the Torah. Now there has been an inscription found in Jerusalem called the Theodotus inscription that tells us that one of the primary purposes of the synagogue in the first century was to read the Torah. But we also know, even from an example from Luke 4, for instance, when Jesus is in the synagogue at Nazareth, he was handed the scroll of Isaiah, and it was his prerogative to read whatever he wanted to. Well, that scroll perhaps would have been placed also on a stone like this within the synagogue. People would have faced each other, sitting, of course, around these benches. I think if I was a church planter and building a new church, I would at least have one room where I would build it in this fashion instead of seeing people in the back of their heads in a pew-like format. I think this is quite significant to have a bench structure and people seeing each other's faces as the presenter, in this case the rabbi, teaching and interpreting the scroll. So was Jesus here? Most likely, a high probability. And it's quite amazing to be here on location and to think that literally 10 feet away from us now, we can see Jesus teaching about the Malchut Shemaim, the kingdom of heaven. That was his go-to message around the Galilee. Matthew 4 tells us that he taught in many of the synagogues of the Galilee. So why not this one? Mary Magdalene was from this city. So she indeed heard the kingdom message and was transformed by Jesus. So I hope that you enjoyed this visit on location at Magdala in the first century synagogue. And until next time, shalom.